Okay, so I was about to do a pre-record, um, and I decided to re-record something that I recorded earlier. And it was basically, I woke up feeling like I get a lot of questions, like when it's the single questions, I get a lot of questions, and even through readings where it's like, what's wrong with me? Why do I feel the way that I feel? Or why can't this person love me? Or why can't I get it right? Why can't I keep a man? Or why can't I keep a woman? Because I have plenty of men that ask me that too. Um, so let me remind you guys of something. It's not you. It is almost never you, okay? You may have flaws. You might be big, tall, short, whatever, loose, tight, whatever you are, it still ain't you. It don't have nothing to do with you. It's literally you being, how am I gonna put this? It's basically when situations fail or when things don't go right, it's you being protected or you being ushered to something new. It is basically protection, divine protection. And what happens is we get into situations where we have a child with someone, or I don't have no makeup, y'all. I should have put on makeup. Where's my lip gloss? We get into situations where we have a child with someone or some other sort of connection. Someone was coming into our life which was only supposed to be for a season, and we decided that because we don't want to be left behind or we don't want to be lonely, that we gonna grab onto this person and we ain't gonna let them go. And that's how we get messed up. Now, me included, but I had to learn through my spiritual awakening to let things go, let people go. Now, I'm gonna tell you, because you guys think that this is just happening to you guys, and it's not. 9 out of 10 of my readings are about a relationship. Not only that, more than half of these readings, this person there, it comes up that there is a third party situation. More than half of these readings, the person who I'm talking to is feeling less than. They're feeling like it's something wrong with them. And what I try to tell people, and I try to instill this in people, cheating has nothing to do with you. Cheating is about the person who's doing it. So and so is ghosting and all of that other stuff. But y'all gotta learn to let stuff ride. I'm trying to tell you. Now let me give you examples in my own life. As we know, I grew up Christian. I 100% believe in God. Not only do I believe in God, I believe that Jesus died on the cross for you and I. Excuse me. Anyways, now I'm not gonna get all into religion, and we're not gonna do all of that because my Christian friends and family, they don't like how I look at the situation because I don't believe the Bible. However, I don't even know how I got on that. Oh, I grew up Christian. There we go. I grew up Christian. I was in church every single Sunday. I was taking my children to church. I was doing everything that I needed to do. I got married when I was young, and I knew damn well I shouldn't have been marrying this man, okay? He didn't, I'm not gonna say you should marry people because of what they have, but what I will say is he didn't have nothing. And not only did he not have nothing, we got married. I got proposed to when I tried to break up with this person. And that's kind of how it went. I tried to break up with them because I was taking care of my young child, my infant, and I was also taking care of this person. And I was like, look, you ain't got no job, you can't get no, you're not trying to do nothing. I got to get up out of here. And he ended up proposing to me, and I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna get married and blah blah blah. That was my second proposal. I was 19 years old, and that was my second time being proposed to, by 2 different people. But anyways, so I ended up getting married, and what happened was, we stayed married we were married, and within like the first couple of months of us getting married, he had went to the military, and we were secluded. We lived in Florida, so we were secluded, away from my family, because I'm from California, you know. And so when we went to Florida, this was the first time of him having his own, because he's always lived with me. And so I started to see little stuff, like when I want to do something, we can't do it. Or when I want to, one time we went to McDonald's, and I was like, okay, I'm going to order a kid's meal for my son. And he was like, he don't need a kid's meal. The fuck you mean he don't need a kid's meal? Now, he wasn't like this. We ain't gonna get into it, but that kind of threw me off. That was a red flag to me. Okay, he don't need a kid's meal. Why? You can't pay for some fries for my child. And that may seem like it's not a big deal to y'all, but it was a huge deal to me. And then other things started happening, like the money. It was his money, and it wasn't even a lot. It was like $1,500 a month back then. But it was his money. And so the bills weren't getting paid. We was married, the bills weren't getting paid, nothing was happening. One day, I remember I was standing at the end of the hallway, and we had got into it because, you know, I have a child. We're married. We live in a house. We don't have any money for food. We don't have any money for anything. You fucking off, and you buying video games. Do you know, we got into an argument, and back then I wasn't as saved as I am now. And so we got into an argument, and this man ran full force and attacked me. He ran full force, picked me up, and tackled me. A couple of days, maybe 2 days later, my sister had, I don't know if she knew something was up or what, but she had called me, and she was like, hey, I need a babysitter. Can you come out here? Which was in the state of Colorado. I went to Colorado. This man begged me. She didn't know what was going on, but this man begged me to come back. I went back. As soon as I got back, I went to the doctor, and I found out I was pregnant. I held on to that relationship because I'm like, who's gonna want me? I got 2 kids and blah, blah, blah. Now let me tell you something. I got 4 kids. I ain't never been turned down because of my children. I ain't never, you know, nothing like that. This ain't never been a deal breaker. And I'm an amazing mother. So I guess that's a plus. But anyways, that's what happened. He like full-fledged attacked me, but I was like, I gotta stay in this relationship because now I'm pregnant and blah, blah, blah. And it was military, and I was new to the state. I did not know how to get an abortion or anything like that because I for sure would have had I known how. Not only that, it was a high-risk pregnancy. It was just a lot. So I decided that I was going to stay in my marriage. We ended up 6 months later moving to Hawaii. When I was in Hawaii, I was pregnant. This man choked me out. He choked me out until I passed out. He slammed the door. He slammed this door on my stomach. I was bleeding. Like, it was just a whole big old thing. But I felt like I needed to hold on to this because I done went and got married, and my grandma is gonna tell me, you know, I should have stayed in my marriage. Ain't nobody perfect, because that's one thing my family like to say. Ain't nobody perfect. All men is the same. So, you know, you get what you get. So I stayed because I was just thinking about everybody around me who would be disappointed in me because I ain't even been married a year. I ain't been married a year, so I need to stay, and I need to stick this shit out. So, fast forward a few months later, I had my child. When I had my child, this person that I was married to, I didn't too much. I'm not gonna say I didn't trust him, but I was the mother. You know, I was the pro. I knew what I was doing. I cared for my kids 24/7. So I did that. I used to have my kid 24/7. So one night I was asleep, and every night he stayed up playing video games. He decided my child was crying, and so this is what's in the police report. So I'm gonna just skip ahead. Basically, my child, he broke 14 of my child's bones. He broke 14 of my child's bones. Not only did he break his bones, he tried to gaslight it and make it seem like he didn't do it. He tried to, I took my child to the hospital probably for 3 months straight when they were just telling me that my son had congestion or he had diarrhea. I mean, not diarrhea, constipation. They gave him suppositories. They gave him everything. And then the last time I took him, they were like, well, let's just do a chest x-ray. They did a chest x-ray. They figured out that he had 8 broken ribs. And then they decided, okay, we're going to do a full body x-ray. He had 8 broken ribs, which is why he was wheezing, which is why he was grunting and sounding like that. Because for 3 months, he could not breathe. And I had no idea what was wrong because this man didn't say I squeezed him to shut him up. Not only did he have 8 broken ribs, he had his left arm broken in 2 different places. Not only did he have his left arm broken in 2 different places, he had both of his knees broken and both of his legs broken. Now, mind you, this is an infant, so he had healed. These were healed fractures. He wasn't hurt or anything like that. These were healed fractures. But every week or every other week when we took him to the doctor, they were just saying it was constipation. I knew that I should have got out of that relationship, and I knew I should have got out of that situation before, because I was getting signs to get out of it. Because you a grown-ass man and all you do is buy and play video games. You can't pay the rent, you can't pay the bills because you're spending your money on video games. When we were in Hawaii, he would take his paycheck and there was a sex shop across the street from our house, and he would just buy a whole bunch of porn and a whole bunch of bullshit. But I knew I shouldn't have been in that situation. I left that situation, and it took me a long time because I started to feel like we didn't stay in a physical relationship, but I ended up letting him rent out my garage and rent out different rooms, not in the house, but I ended up letting him rent out different stuff, and we stayed cordial, and I didn't tell anybody what had happened at that point. The state had restricted him from being around us, and had restricted him from being around my children, and they had basically, they had looked all into everything, and they were like, she's an amazing mother. Her oldest son is 2 years old, and he knows how to read. He knows how to do this. He knows how to do that. She cares for them very well. They're both her oldest son is very articulate. The baby, which was my other son, he started walking when he was 6 months old, which was a freaking miracle because, whatever. But anyways, they were like, she's a great mother. She's fantastic. The only issue is this man. So I known I should have left that situation. I moved to the state of Colorado, which thank God I don't live there anymore. And I didn't date. I felt like I wasn't going to deal with nobody. I wasn't going to date anybody. Me and this man, we came up with an arrangement so that I could have another child, because I felt like nobody's going to want me. Look it, I'm married. I got 2 kids. This is not going to happen, So I decided that I wasn't going to date. I wasn't going to do nothing, and I didn't. And I didn't have sex for years on top of years, okay? But I decided that I wanted another child, and so me and this man, we came to an arrangement for me to have a daughter, and we did that. I have my daughter. This man wasn't involved in anything, any step of the way. He would come, try to break into my place. He did a whole bunch of BS. This was a karmic relationship that hung on to me because this person was clinged onto me, grasped onto me. I've moved several times, and this karmic relationship just kept going. I used to feel like, okay, he did this stuff, but this was a horrible mistake. And if I watch him a little close, he can still have contact with my children. He can still be a pretty good father. If he goes get mental health treatment, he can still do this. I made excuses. You can't fucking make excuses for people, okay? If it's not working out, you don't stay in a relationship for the kids. You don't stay in contact for the kids, okay? You leave that alone. So, fast forward. I dated a few years down the line. I dated in 2012 to 2014, off and on, because what this man did to my child. I never introduced any men to my children because I felt like if their father can't love them, then nobody else can, and I don't want anyone to harm my children. So I'd rather, invite somebody over at 9 o'clock at night and you gotta leave within a couple of hours than you chilling or you sitting around my kids. Even if it's a friendship, you can't be around my kids if you're not gonna be consistent. That's how I was. So fast forward to 2016, 2017, I met someone else. Now, I have been dating, I have been in a relationship. My kids have never known that I was in other relationships, but I met someone else. This man intentionally got me pregnant, intentionally. And so he's like, oh, I've always wanted a daughter. Me, I was like, I can't have no more kids. I was going to get an abortion. I decided not to because something told me this kid is going to change the world. So I decided to move forward with my pregnancy. While I was pregnant, this person became extremely verbally abusive. I had a cousin. She died. She died because her ex-boyfriend was a stalker. And I was talking to my cousin every single day, and she told me to have my daughter. Her ex-boyfriend was a stalker, and he beat her with a bat. I believe he stabbed her. He shot her. He did all kind of stuff to her one day while I was pregnant. I felt like I couldn't go on with my pregnancy. I was breaking down. I had just talked to her a couple of days before. Not only that, she called me as this incident was unfolding, okay? And I missed the call. But anyways, I had a cousin, and this stuff happened to her. And so immediately after this stuff happened to her, me and my child's father, we got into an argument. And I had told him what happened. I went to the funeral, which was in California, and I told him what happened. And so during this argument, he was like, you gonna end up like your cousin. I'm not gonna say her name out of respect for, the rest of my family. I don't know how they feel about me saying this stuff. But anyways, he was like, you're gonna end up like her. And that was a red flag. But guess what? I didn't pay attention to the threat. Now, I felt like I'm having a child with this person, so I have to be cordial with this person. Me and him can hate each other, but my other kids do not have a father. And that's something that's a real big deal to me. So I need to be at minimum cordial with this person. Okay, we went through a whole lot of toxicity during my pregnancy. He tried to put his hands on me. He tried to wreck my car. Intentionally. He did a whole lot of stuff. After the pregnancy was up, I had my daughter. Immediately from the hospital, I started to co-parent. Okay, because we can't be together. Mind you, I have other kids. He had never met my children. 2 days before my daughter was born, I introduced him to my kids briefly. It was about 10 minutes when we were going to IKEA so that I can purchase the furniture for his house, or the baby furniture for his house, because he hadn't had anything and it was close to my due date. I knew from jump that I wanted to co-parent. So I ended up doing that or whatever. My baby was 2 days old, and I was like, okay, you can go ahead and take her for a few hours. I pumped gallons and gallons of milk, like literally gallons. I had so many bags of milk that I pumped because I was still breastfeeding. Fast forward, I started to suspect that my daughter was being sexually abused. This man had all kind of behaviors. He had not sexual behaviors, although whatever. Y'all can read my book because it's going back on sale. It's called The Pretty Pedophile. But anyways, he had all kind of behaviors, and I started to suspect that my daughter was being sexually abused. Now, the red flags before this was that he was quick to lose his temper, so I should have walked away. He was very quick and eager to gaslight. He was telling his family one story about what was going on with us, and then coming and telling me something different. He was trying to use sex as a weapon. Like, I had just had my daughter. He came in here like, oh, give me some head. And I'm like, I'm not about to do nothing. And so he started telling me first of all, well, I'm not coming back over there and blah, blah, blah. Then telling his mother, Maisha wants me to sleep with her, and because I won't sleep with her, she won't let me see the child. Sir, you could take the child whenever you want to. That's been the agreement, and your mother comes and gets her too. So that was a whole bunch of bullshit. But fast forward, I started to suspect my daughter was being abused, and I felt like she was being abused because I wasn't complying with the things that he was telling me. We went to court long. We had this long drawn out custody case. All kind of things happened. Come to find out, this man had been accused of sexual assault of 2 other people. There's no record. There was no record of this because it was sexual assault on a child in the state of Colorado, which is a disgusting state. Y'all should never live there. In the state of Colorado, when the victim is a child, they seal the record. Okay, so he had been arrested of sexual assault on another child. No background check, no nothing revealed this. Even throughout the custody case, it was hard for me to prove this. He sent my daughter home with blood in her diaper. He did all kind of stuff. We had a crooked investigator in our case who said that I was just paranoid of abuse. And, you know, all of these injuries to my daughter, black eye, purple eye socket, everything that was happening to her was just, you know, a mistake or an accident, or, you know, she made excuses for his ass because she had a personal relationship with him as well. But anyways, 2 weeks before our custody hearing, he got arrested for sexual assault on another child. When he got arrested for sexual assault on this other child, the court restricted him from contact with any children. I'm not gonna get into everything because it's part of my book that you can read, so I'm not gonna get into everything. But the long story short, I should have fucking left this situation when the red flags started rising. When I was pregnant, I was 7 months pregnant, and he used to be like, oh, I hope you fall down the stairs, bitch. I hope you die. I still got these messages because I used them in court, used them in investigations. Like, he just used to go so hard. My safety was never an issue. And the fact that he wanted to be abusive to me all the time, but I wanted to hold on to him because this was the father of my child. And so my kids deserve to have a father. After that situation, I didn't date for 3 years. I suffered post-traumatic stress disorder. I didn't date for 3 years. And when I started dating again, I went full fucking force, okay? I dated a few people, all in a little short time period, because it's dating. You're supposed to date multiple people. I dated a few people, and then I found somebody I liked. And I'm like, okay. I'm gonna deal with him. But the whole 3 years I needed to heal, and I was questioning myself, like, why, you know, why me? Why is this happening? Why do I keep running into people who are abusive to children? And, you know, I'm an educator, I'm a great mother. My kids are my fucking life. Like, I do anything for my kids. My kids have all been identified as gifted and talented. They all, you know, they're just all extremely advanced. They're well-mannered. Anybody who knows me knows what kind of parent I am. So I'm like, why am I running into the exact opposite? What did I do? What is it about me? So I got in another relationship. And it was a very short relationship because this time I had my spiritual shit, you know. I done developed manifestation skills. I started praying, meditating. I developed I developed the gift of foresight. You know, I worked on all of this stuff. So now I knew what to do. And this guy, he had some red flags. And I said, I ain't trying to take him too serious. So maybe I can, you know, run these red lights. But one day I caught myself catching little feelings. So we were going to go on a vacation. I lit a candle and I said, if this man is not for me, please let this trip blow up in irreparable damage. Long and behold, one day into the trip, this man pulled out a gun and kidnapped me at gunpoint. At that point, I was convinced that it was fucking me, okay? And I was like, nope, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna date. I took 2 days just crying. He kidnapped me, he raped me, he did so much stuff. I spent 2 days just crying. And he did that because I was going to break up with him. That's my belief. Because, we can get into a whole lot of stuff, but I was talking to other people, and one of the people I was talking to, he had called me while we was on this trip, and the guy kept on saying, hey, you're gonna break up with me when we get back home, huh? You're gonna break up with me. But anyways, the nigga kidnapped me with a gun. And I just was convinced that it was fucking me. Like, you couldn't tell me no different. I was in my bed for 2 days and I was just crying. I had to cope with this because it was a horrible 48 hours. And I really thought that I was going to die. He kept telling me that I was going to die. He kept telling me that he was going to kill me. He kept telling me, you're the best thing that ever happened to me one minute, and next minute, neither one of us is going to live. You ain't going to make it home to your kids. Like, he was just going in. And so I was convinced that it was me. But then I said I was going to give up. But then I was like, you know what? I'm not about to be punked. You ain't about to punk me. I literally sat in my bed and I was talking to whoever, you know, angels, spirit guides, whatever. Y'all not about to fucking punk me, okay? You're not going to punk me. I'm not about to give up because this can't be my fucking life. This can't be my life, okay? You know, I'm happy with my children and all that stuff, and we don't need love. But after all this shit that I've been through, I deserve fucking something. So this can't be my life. I met this man who approached me like, there's a really intense, I have a really intense attraction to you, and, you know, blah, blah, blah. He, you know, I thought he was running game. Do you know, we had a few hiccups, but this man, this is what I feel like. This is what I was waiting for. I feel like this is the relationship that I was waiting for. Now, he had his own karmic. He has his own karmic situation going on, and he's less evolved and less healed than I am. But when I tell you that this is the man of my dreams, and he's not even my type. This is the man of my dreams. You know, he has his own past. He has his own history. Of course, you know, nobody is perfect, but we make a perfect couple in a perfect relationship. There's no arguing, there's no fighting, there's really just peace and understanding. It's like he can read my mind. I didn't believe in fairy tales, and I didn't believe that, you know, I didn't believe in love at first sight. I didn't believe that things could really happen. But when you heal your mind, when you heal yourself, when you demand to be put on the right path, when you've been going down such horrible paths, then things work out for you. And when you decide to release things that don't serve you, because this man who kidnapped me, real fucking shit, he has tried to come to me several times since. Several. Because some people feel like this toxic behavior, pulling a gun out on people and shit like that, some people feel like that's normal. Forcible sex, people think that that's normal. Now let me tell you a difference too. With this man, I used to I'm very touchy-feely. I used to touch on him, and he used to tell me, Maisha, stop touching me. I don't like that. I don't like to be touched. I used to be like, hey, let me give you some head, you know, at this gas station or wherever. And he used to be like, no, what's wrong with you? Like, he used to just be extra. And of course, it's not about sex, but the other person, I used to, when we started spending a lot more time together, I can't keep my hands off of the people that I'm with. And so I would touch him, and I used to be like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that I'm touching you. I'm so sorry that I'm rubbing on you. I'm extremely sensual. So I'm always rubbing you. I'm always caressing you. And I used to say, I'm so sorry for that. And he used to be like, why? Why are you sorry? Like, what do you mean? I used to be like scared to be like, hey, can we do it again? But if I want to go around 1 through 10, then he gonna go around 1 through 10. If I want to suck his dick in the Applebee's, then he gonna let me do it. I'm sorry. But whatever it is that I want to do, he's down for it. And it's just like the perfect connection. The perfect connection. Now, he got a baby mama, so that's like, but other than that, let me reiterate. Sometimes we going through stuff, or we go through these cycles because we need to learn how to release. We need to learn how to let go. We need to learn how to stop fighting for other people and fight for ourselves. I know you're thinking, I'm in this relationship, and if he just let me love him, I will love him better than anybody he's ever been with. But you need to remember that you deserve to be loved too. You deserve everything that you're trying to give this person. So stop giving them the benefit of doubt. Stop letting them fuck over you. Stop giving them opportunities to hurt you. Now, my situations were more drastic than the average. And as a Scorpio, like, I've really researched, and they say that Scorpios' lives are unbelievable. Like, they have the most horrific experiences, which I believe, and I feel so bad for birthing a Scorpio because I got a Scorpio daughter. So hopefully, I pray she never goes through what I go through. But the point is, you got to release. Sometimes it's not you. Sometimes the little shit is happening for your protection. So remember to protect yourself. Don't be like me and go through all this bullshit just to find your happily ever after. Protect yourself. That's all I got to say. I got to get back to these pre-records. Bye-bye.